If you're a serious builder working on complex software systems, chances are you've already tried AI coding assistants. Maybe you found them disappointing, frustrating, or just simply not living up to the hype. But things have changed. While AI coding assistants still aren't perfect, there are strategies to make them significantly more effective. In today's video, I will break down the key challenges AI faces in software development, how to work around these limitations, and also share my personal setup, the one I cannot imagine coding without. My name is Derick Chen, and this is Build with DC. We have come a long way from just inline code completion that exposed other people's secret keys in 2023, with basic agentic abilities that were gradually introduced in 2024, and now there are a multitude of code assistance tools available, mostly free of charge. I do believe we are approaching an inflection point where coding assistance will be a standard issue for software development teams, but there are still some limitations today that will require some workarounds. There are three main challenge areas preventing us from reaching the full potential of AI in software development today: the large language model, the assistance interfaces, and how we're using them. I see a lot of people getting decision paralysis over the choice of large language models under decoding assistance. This is an integral part of the solution and is the foundation of the competency of coding assistance. However, there are simply too many models to be thoroughly evaluated personally. A few points of difference on the benchmarks may mean very little in their relative effectiveness in helping you in your day-to-day workflow. The common problem that almost all LLM foundation models have today is poor performance in large contexts, if they have a large enough context window to begin with. You can see from this recent research from 3 months ago that most models start performing poorly between 64K to 128K context length today. And this particular context window size is the bare minimum for highly complicated coding tasks. Though there are many approaches to how coding assistants should embed large language models and offer the experience to developers, we haven't found the best way yet. Most developers are not fans of inline code completion, as it can be distracting if it is not accurate. And so far, it does seem quite difficult to read developers' minds. The chat interface can also be rather awkward. LLMs are verbose and the conversation bloats very quickly, making important information hard to be found and referenced again. Today, there are also limited ways of providing non-source code documentation or enforcing code standards. So, how can we overcome these limitations and maximize the value we get from coding assistance without having to wait for better models and better interfaces today? It is fundamental to have a cursory understanding of what kind of tasks are most suitable for LLMs today, so you don't end up using coding assistants for the wrong types of tasks, which would be a waste of both your time and tokens. You always have to remember that the transformer-based large language models are autoregressive in nature. In an overly simplified nutshell, they're trying to predict the next most likely word based on the sentence so far, the model's training, and the available supplementary data. Coding agents are extremely effective today in tasks that have been extensively documented publicly. For example, the generation of basic algorithms and simple manipulations of data at a functional level. But let's say you're utilizing a very niche open source module that only 3 other people on the planet have started the repository. Most likely, the LLM will have no knowledge of any of that, and its guess is as good as mine. The same goes for private repositories, niche SDKs, and custom implementations outside your workspace. This is when your existing codebase plays a major role today. Your codebase serves as the context for your coding assistants. Some coding assistants create an index of your workspace and break your code into chunks, almost like a local rag. The other ones look for relevant files by regular expression-based search and try to understand related source code. Either way, we want to leverage LLMs without bloating the context window today. Remember how we discussed earlier that the response accuracy drops with a larger context? So we need to structure our code to be easily ingestible. Basically, we want to modularize complexity in our code bases. I've covered this extensively in a series on designing for adaptability in complex software systems, so you can click on the link above for more details. In short, we want our code to be highly cohesive and loosely coupled in a decentralized architecture. Source code that is functionally similar should be grouped together in a class or a module. And the logic and transactions should not be overly distributed or over-integrated. We want to strive for a balance with a decentralized structure, and this means independently deployed microservices. I do like modular monolith as a software architecture, but there are still more coupling for the purpose of improving code generation quality. After that, review your source code. Your source code should be maintainable and sufficiently documented. In the documentation, be specific with typing and focus on the why. Make sure that the naming of your classes, functions, and variables are also understandable. Avoid uncommon acronyms like never before and use consistent language within each module. The last part of the equation, while you're probably not going to like it very much, is just simple prompt engineering. Basic improvements and best practices are essential for improving the performance of LLMs and coding assistants today. I have seen developers using coding assistants like a Google search in VS Code. Variable not defined, cannot concatenate string and integer. These prompts will not work today. Follow the general prompting best practices. Start with the instruction, be specific, give examples, and do not use negation. In the context of coding assistants, this means being explicit in stating the file name, class name, and also function name where you need help. Provide debugging outputs if you have any, and also explain what you want to achieve and describe the outcomes you're looking for. Your prompt should minimally be the size of a tweet, especially for agentic workflows that may take some time to process. Lastly, I want to share a little on my personal setup of coding assistants today. I joked on LinkedIn recently that they're becoming like Pokemons. Gotta catch them all. Most developers and organizations are on a shopping spree, so let me share my setup, and hopefully you'll find it useful too. I mostly use Amazon Q Developer and Cline with Claude 3.5 Sonnet v2. Of course, I'm a little bit biased. I work for Amazon Web Services, and my job is to help developers and organizations build complex software faster and better. But I do genuinely like Amazon Q Developer, and there have been significant improvements since I last spoke about it on AWS Developers. It is very effective and responds very quickly in retrieving the right information within the codebase. I love it for wide scope tasks, like finding a piece of code by its functionality. It's tremendously useful in a codebase that you're not too familiar with. The /dev feature got a nice upgrade recently too, where you can now accept individual file change diffs from the agentic code generation and to provide further comments to regenerate. It has also become much faster. For narrow scope, deep tasks, I lean slightly more towards Cline for its ability to iterate without extensive prompting. The plan mode is also very useful in further defining the task before Cline tries to modify the source code. However, Cline can take longer to complete the task and consume more tokens. Cline generates code changes file by file and asks for the user to review every time. This can get confusing as the implementation of one file may depend on code that has yet to be generated. So it is best to start iterating with Cline with nothing staged in Git, so you can use Git as a mini checkpoint system. There are certainly opportunities to improve, but given how quickly we are evolving the coding assistants, I am very hopeful. Even today, I see a drastic improvement in my own productivity and a reduction in the time and effort spent on mundane tasks. You should definitely not shy away from using coding assistants today just because they are not yet in their final form. They are here to stay. And having a deeper understanding of the best practices and anti-patterns will help you get a head start as we continue on this journey. If you found my content useful, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for tuning in today. My name is Derick Chen, and this is Build with DC. See you in the next video.